All right, good to see everybody again. Good challenge this week with a really good offense. So we're going to have to play our best to win and get things going the right way. Go ahead.
When it comes to facing Dak, what is it that's challenging about his intelligence, the way that he reads defenses pre and post snap?
He's really good at it. He sees a lot of things because he's a veteran. He can recognize coverages and change protections. He does a lot at the line of scrimmage, and based on our looks, so we have to do a good job with our disguises and making sure we're in the right position when the ball is snapped.
What did he do in 2019 that sort of led to such a great game that he played against a very good defense in 2019?
Yeah, I think he took advantage of some opportunities that we gave him in coverage. He really worked the outside lanes on us and some of the 9 stops on the outside, and he threw some really great balls. A couple of the times the receivers were right on the hash marks on the side and tapped their toes. So he put some balls on the money. He did a good job with his legs, creating some plays. So he's got all those throws and movement in him.
Adam, is this game a good measuring stick to kind of see how the Vikings stack up against a team that's rated as one of the best in the league and 5-1 and all that?
Well, yeah. Anytime you play the number 1 offense in the league, you want to see how you fare. I think we've played some good offenses this year, and I think we've played pretty well. But this is a dynamic offense. They've got a lot of playmakers, and we've got to do our best to slow them down.
Do you think Dak is perhaps an even better player now after the injury? He doesn't even look like he had an injury before.
Yeah, he was pretty good before he got hurt. I thought he was having an outstanding year last year when I saw the tape on him when we played him in the game when we ended up playing Andy. But I think he's taken more of a leadership role. He's more in command of the offense. He knows where everybody's supposed to be. I think he's playing as good as any quarterback in the NFL right now.
We had a chance to talk to Xavier Woods here earlier, and he admitted he had a bad season last year and all that. What was kind of the risk factor, when you saw him, maybe not knowing if he was going to play at this level he is this year or whether he might continue to play at the level he did last year?
Well, I think you look at the grand scheme of things I think Xavier has had a good career, and he, maybe had a down year last year. I don't know. You talk to him about that, but he's really smart. He's intelligent, and he fits the mold of what we do. Maybe he didn't fit the mold of how they were playing defense last year or whatever, but he's done everything we ask him to. He's a great leader. He's smart and a great communicator for us, and he's played well.
He said it means a lot to go up and face the Cowboys. Veterans, you don't really have to temper their energy or any of that. When there's a veteran guy who has experience, a smart player, and he's got that added edge, does that make them more dangerous in your book, or what have you seen?
You're saying Xavier's attitude?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I sometimes you get caught up in that. It's your former team, and you want to do really good against your former team. You always want to beat them. Every time I play one of the teams I coach for, I really want to beat them, just because there's people on that staff you still know. There's people on the coaching staff or the equipment staff or whatever, and so you really want to win those games. Heck, there's people on the staff that were with my dad in Dallas back in the day, and I was on the sideline, so I want to win this game too. I think that's more of a pregame thing. Once you get into the game, it's all about making the adjustments, trying the best way to stop them, and things to that nature.
Speaking of your dad, what's he like when he goes up against the Cowboys? I mean, he spent so many years there and all that. What's kind of he like before these games against the Cowboys?
Well, he's a nervous wreck before every game, so I don't think that's any different. You'd have to ask him how he feels about it. I think he approaches this game just like any other, where we want to win and we want to play really good.
When anyone talks about Xavier Woods, they talk about his intelligence. Where does that sort of show up the most for a safety, or where is that the biggest benefit that helps?
Well, I think anticipating things. anticipates motions, he anticipates routes. He has kind of this unspoken communication with Harrison where, hey, you go down left, you go down right, and they might not even verbally have to say it. They just know where everybody's going to be. And so I think the anticipation, and that comes from film study, that comes from seeing a lot of football plays in his career, and that all that stuff helps him.
Adam, do you guys rush differently if you get into the game and you find out that Dak's calf is bothering him and he's not able to do all the movement that he normally does to get away from things? Do you change things on the fly when you see something like that?
Well, obviously you're gonna look and see how he's moving in the game. Right now, we're anticipating him being Dak and doing the things he's done. And if we notice he's limited, you might change a little bit, turn those guys loose a little bit, but you still don't want to play on sound. You still want to keep your rush lanes and do what you do, because they could leak it back out and check it down for a big gain. So there's only limited things you can change, but you can take that into account.
How much are you potentially preparing for Cooper Rush in the event that Dak doesn't play?
We'll look at his plays, but I don't think the offense is going to change that dramatically between the quarterbacks. I'm expecting to see Dak, and that's the way we're going to approach it, but we will look at his plays.
After not really trying to do much with the run game in the season opener, excuse me, they've really gotten their running game going. What's keyed that success?
Well, they've got a really good offensive line. They have a really good scheme offensively, and they have two really good running backs. This is probably the best 1-2 punch of running backs we've seen this season. Ezekiel runs really hard, and Pollard is dynamic, and he can hit the home run. He can bounce to the outside, and they feed off of each other well. They rotate with each other a lot, so they're always fresh. So I think that's a big part of it. But I think they do a great job scheming the running game and really being physical with you and making you be perfect in your fits. We watched a play just a minute ago where a linebacker jumped out of his gap just for a second, and the back just scooted through there for about a 20-yard gain. So we've got to be disciplined with our fits and make sure we're staying where we're supposed to stay until we're ready to make the tackle.
When you see how Diggs is playing for the Cowboys, what do you like most about his game and how he's really come on this year for them?
Yeah, I haven't seen a whole lot of Diggs other than highlights, but all I've noticed is he can get the ball, and he knows what to do with the ball when he gets it. So, we liked him coming out of college, and Carl actually coached him in college, and he really likes him too. So, he's a dynamic player, and it's exciting to see a guy make so many plays on the defensive side of the ball.